Hey guys, welcome to this week's video. This is our spare Amiga 1200. I picked this up about a month ago and it does work fine. It's currently connected up through the capture device here, just over composite, that's why it looks a bit blurry. But there's our workbench screen with Amy the squirrel. This machine is getting on about 27 years old though, and while it does work, one thing that will fail in it is the capacitors. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to change these before anything does go wrong. Even though this machine does work, I would expect to find several of the capacitors in here already starting to leak. So we're going to tear this down, we're going to remove the old caps, put the new ones in place, and hopefully this old Amiga will be good for another 27 years. Okay, here's the Amiga 1200's motherboard removed. So to get the old capacitors off, really simple. Good pair of pliers. You want to grab, squeeze, and twist. Do you really think I'm that stupid? Yes. Please do not use pliers to remove your capacitors from your motherboard. These things are well on there. They're soldered in place. This is not removing post-it notes. If you try and pull it off, best case scenario, you'll cause minor damage to the pads underneath. Worst case scenario, you'll completely remove the pads underneath, requiring further repair. Do not use pliers. What you want to do is get yourself some of this high temperature masking tape. You want to cover all areas of the boards that we're going to be working around. Obviously leaving the capacitors exposed. And then you want to get yourself one of these. The hot air gun. To heat up the capacitors, melt the solder, and the cap will just freely lift away. No damage. I'm going to show you these two now and then I'll do the rest later. Right, I always like to put a double layer of this stuff on. You probably could get away with one layer, but Amiga 1200 boards are expensive. This stuff is dirt cheap. So we'll take our hot air gun. Just takes a second to warm up. I have the temperature set to 340 and I have the airspeed to about 2/3, well 6 out of 8 on this. Getting hot. This is just a cheap Chinese knockoff station there, does there. But it does me. Right, that's us pretty much up to temperature. So we're just going to go in and heat these capacitors. There we are. That's them off. So we were just using a screwdriver just to gently move them. We were not applying any force really. There's the old caps. Came off with a puff of smoke. That's different. And that is how you remove them. As simple as that. Now all we need to do is use a little bit of solder wick, clean up the pads, and then we can put on the two new caps. Okay, so we're just going to clean up the 4 pads here. So I'm going to apply a little bit of flux. Then we'll go in with our braid on our iron. Right, that's not too bad. I'm just going to clean the area quickly. A wee bit of our IPA and cotton bud. Okay. Right, what were those capacitors anyway? So they were 22s. Right, well here's our 2 new capacitors that need to go on. But which way around do we put them? Well, if you see the diagram on the board, the shape of that, and look at the underside of your cap, you'll see it has a corresponding shape. And it is really that simple. So that one goes on like that. And that one will go on like that. Now, getting them on. I'll be the first to admit that surface mount soldering is not one of my strong points. So this is how I do it anyway. I've changed to my 30 watt iron rather than the soldering station because, well, to be perfectly honest, the iron that comes with the soldering station is crap. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of solder to this. Just directly to the pad. There we are, just like that. In fact, let me try and zoom you in a wee bit. And then to mount this, I'm just going to put it beside. We've only applied solder to one side of this for now. And then to mount this, I'm just going to apply that to the side of it, heat the pad, and slide this into position. There we are, that's that one on. Right, that's not too bad. That's the 2 of them on, just on that side. I need to tidy up this bottom one a bit, but to be honest, the camera's getting in the way, so I'll have to do that off camera. For attaching the other side then, I'm just going to offer up the iron, a wee bit of solder. That's it. That's that one on. I need to fix that one a bit, but I need, as I said, the camera's getting in the way, so I'll do that. And then quite a few more to do. So I'll change all the surface mount ones, then we'll come back and we'll tackle the through-hole stuff. This might take a while. Well, that's all the surface mount stuff done. I had to remove the 2 through-hole caps here at this point just to get these 3 on. It was a bit difficult. The only damage that we caused was a slight burn mark here on this port. It's very hard to get into this cap down in here. You can see it's incredibly tight in there. But it's only a bit of minor damage. I'm not too worried about it. This machine will stay in my collection forever, so it's not like we're doing this for someone else or to sell on. This is mine. I can put up with that. Right, I've taken those 2 off. We need to take these 2 through-hole ones off. So let me show you that. We're using the desoldering station for this. That should be this one released. Easy. So the blue ones were the 16 volt 470s and the black ones are the 10 volt 1000s. Let's try and get this one off. This is going to be a pig, just like the other black one was, because of the size of this ground plane here. This is not going to want to come off. Let me see. We were lucky this time. The first one I took off over here, honestly it must have took 5 minutes to get it off. Right, that's those out of the way. Let's get our last 4 big caps in. And then that is this machine done. This is 16470. Go in there like that. There's 1000. Like that. This one was 1000. And then the last one, 16 volt, 470. Or was it? Over here, wasn't it? Just like that. Right, let's get these on. Let's trim off these legs. One recapped Amiga 1200. Let's get it back together and make sure it still works. Okay, so let's just get her back together. And give the case a wee bit of a clean here just to remove the dirty marks on it. I'll need to go over it though and give it a proper clean at some point. Right, so it's just back together stock at the minute. The RAM expansion is not in there and the hard drive is not in there. Just to do a quick power on test. But we get power, that's always good. What's happening on the screen? Well, it certainly seems to be working. Right, let's go ahead and put the rest of it together, get the hard drive in, get the RAM expansion in, and let's see if it boots. Right, well that's the hard drive back in and the memory expansion back in. Let's see if she boots. Hard drive activity LED flash, that's good. Right, I was expecting to see this because there is a bit of a weird fault with the memory expansion. On first boot it always comes up defective, but if we do a soft reset, you can see it boots in the workbench fine. And the full 4 megabytes is shown here okay. I'll have to run some sort of memory test on this to see what is going on. But once the machine boots like this, it is rock solid. Right, well there we are. That is one recapped Amiga 1200. Hopefully it will be good for another 27 years. That'll maybe give me the chance to get good at June 2. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.